area. And yeah, that's the reason why. Now, it's not from uncooked pasta. That is not spaghetti there. What you're seeing is intestinal worms, and that includes whipworms, ringworms, tapeworms, hookworms, and all sorts of different parasites humans can get in their intestines. And I'm just going to tell you straight up, the science says for these worms to live, to survive, need meat, dairy, eggs, fish, etc. They need animal protein. And like most Americans, these types of worms will survive in human intestines. And oh my gosh, that is freaking disgusting. I would not want that rotting in my freaking colon, man. I mean, a lot of people ask me why I'm 100% vegan and why I don't include just a little bit of animal products in my diet. And this is why. This is why I am terrified of these things. I want to minimize my chances of getting these little fuckers.
Okay, well, obviously he's got some bad choices of words there, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I have started my channel. A lot of the information that's out there on the internet, a lot of it's true and it's good, but the way people talk, the language, so I apologize that that's even transferred onto mine, but I'm trying to give you a little idea of about parasites, and the problem of parasites. It's a real problem. So I'm going to change cameras here and talk about this for a little bit. This is my GoPro. So, yeah. Okay, so here I am in the little Manila studio, and I want to talk to you about parasites. We've seen a little clip here on the television. This is a man who had stomach pains. He went into the doctor. They, of course, probably did some sort of a scan or x-ray, who knows what, but determined that they should open him up, and when they did, they were able to pull out just massive piles of worms that looked like spaghetti. And you think, is that even really common, or is that even real? I mean, and the thing is just the other day, Rolf and I, elderly man that's with me here, were walking here in this country down a little side street, and there was a mother and father and a child, and the child was feeling sick and vomiting, and I witnessed the same exact things coming up the child's mouth, coming out with the vomiting. Actually, the child vomited out these, well, Rolf said, oh, snakes, they're snakes, they were long. They were as big as my hand, as long as from my tip of my pinky finger, little finger, to my thumb, quite large and very hardy. It was a hot day. They were in the sun, and they were crawling and moving on that hot pavement. So these are nothing to be messed with. These are not little weak little worms that are, and they can lay over 1 million eggs per day. So if you got 1,000 worms in there, that's a lot of propagation of that parasite, and it defecates in your system. It's eating the nutrients from the food that you need, and it's defecating, and that is getting in your blood system. So this is a real problem, and those things can live in you and you feel fine. So I recommend doing a parasite cleanse several times a year, maybe 4 times a year. Now, the basics that you need to know about a parasite cleanse. Okay. I don't want to go and give myself a credential on this or say that I know all about it. All I can say is that I'm 46. I was involved in the management end of running a health project. You could call it a center. It was a lifestyle center, but dealing with all sorts of diseases, especially cleansing, detoxifying, using foods to do that, and some herbs. So seeing people come there and seeing these things come out of people for years and years and years. And my father did this. His father, my grandfather, owned a natural healing sanitarium. He was a chiropractic doctor. So they talked about 60-foot tapeworms. So I've been involved in this all of my life. Started way back with my grandfather, my father, who was born in 1905, and then myself. So maybe I do have some knowledge on this. So that's all I want to say, is based on my experiences working with people and learning. 15 days, these are important facts. 15 days is what it normally takes to kill a generation of parasites, especially worms like this, roundworms or flukes or any kind of parasite in your system. 15 days. Then you wait another 5 days, maybe even 10, for any eggs or larvae to hatch in your body. Then you have to do another 15 days to kill that generation. And so it approximately comes out to a 35 or 40 day process to get rid of those. What do you use to kill? Well, a medical doctor would use some chemical or some drug, antibiotic, something like that, with, of course, side effects, and then they would give you some probiotics to build up your natural, balance of friendly bacteria. Well, there's a lot of things out there, and I'm going to be doing some videos on this, showing you in more detail, because this is actually an epidemic in the world. And there are many tapes, productions. I'm still back in the dark ages. Tapes, cassette tapes, reel-to-reels, whatever. YouTube, there's information out there on this. I used to listen to a number of doctors, medical doctors, who harped on this and said it was one of the most prolific epidemics that was going unnoticed, basically. People were not aware of it. So I'm going to be talking in more detail about this. But there are many natural products out there. I say product, I'm not talking about a bottle or pill. I'm talking about a natural substance, something in nature that kills the parasite. So I'm going to give you a couple little real cool tips of information. A seed of a plant, a seed of something is the most amazing thing to kill parasites, and the skins. So a seed is designed, and that's why I believe we have a God, because if you have a design, you have to have a designer, and that's another topic and another subject. But the seed is designed to be able to go into the manure pit, into the septic, into the most polluted, disgusting, disease-riddled area. And yet, that seed is going to survive. In fact, it will actually thrive in manure. It thrives in garbage because it has a natural protective barrier, a natural element, substance within that seed that protects it, and the parasites won't eat it. In fact, parasites die trying to eat it or getting near it. So one of those seeds is papaya seeds. Papaya seeds, if you chew them up, they actually taste kind of like a beetle. Now, I've never eaten a beetle, but I've smelled them. I've gotten kind of close, too close for comfort. And, there's a bitter, pungent, and black walnut hulls also have that same very pungent, bitter, bitey flavor. Parasites die when you eat that. But when you eat that, it doesn't kill you. It's completely non-toxic. I've eaten huge amounts of papaya seeds. Now, you can eat papaya seeds and not chew them, but swallow them, and they're a great gradual, nice colon, I should say, kind of a cleansing of the colon. Not rough. It's not like a fibrous, because it's like a gel around the outside as a protective barrier outside of what's actually inside the seed. You'll have to take a look closely at papaya seeds sometime next time. But that's one way you can eat a lot, and it doesn't taste bad. You can swallow them, and it's a nice colon cleanse. But I'm talking about chewing them up, juicing them, putting them right in your juices, drinking that juice, chewing them up. And a really good way to do it is to dry the seeds. Make sure it's a ripe papaya so the seeds are nice and dark. dry those, and then you can actually put it in a seed grinder, a coffee grinder, and make a powder. Take a spoonful of that, put it in a drink, put it in capsules. Be creative. The main thing is to get it in your body so that it kills those critters that you don't want in there. And sure, of course, sometimes if you take too much of this black, and I say too much, well, how do you know it's too much? You can take massive amounts, and I guess the main thing, and it's really a decision you have to make, is do I want to kill everything? Yes or no? Well, if you've got those bad round worms in you, or something like a tapeworm, you're going to have to kill pretty much everything, all of the friendly flora, the friendly bacteria that's in your gut, and replace it with some probiotics. I use vegan strains, and people say, where does the vegan strain come from? Well, they get stuff from cows. That's not vegan, obviously. Vegan comes from human. They get it from a human source, basically. I've heard from a baby. These are strains that it originally started somewhere, and maybe it's 50 years back. I don't know. Maybe it's 20 years, 10 years. But they are able to get those probiotics, those friendly critters, if you want to call them that fight and that are on your side and that do not harm you. And you want to start introducing those back into your body, because then